Jason never thought he'd be caught between the two most important women in his life. His sister, Emily, had been there since the beginning, fiercely protective, endlessly self-sacrificing. After their mother's death, she had been the one to step up, barely 18 herself, working late shifts, skipping college, and making sure Jason never had to feel like an orphan. His wife, Lauren, was his sanctuary. She had steadied him through adulthood, given him a place to rest, a home that didn't feel like a battlefield. She knew how to untangle the knots in his head without making him feel weak. But in the last few months, everything had changed. Their father's stroke had shattered the delicate balance. Emily had taken on the responsibility of caring for him, just like she always had. But Jason had seen the strain, her bills piling up, her exhaustion masked by forced smiles. Lauren had seen it too. "Let him move in with us," she had said one evening as they sat on the couch. "It's too much for her." Jason had hesitated. "Emily won't go for it." Lauren's expression softened, but there was something behind her eyes, something tired. "Then you need to make her see reason." He had tried, but Emily had taken it as an insult. "You think I can't handle this?" she'd snapped over the phone. "I've taken care of him my whole life. I've taken care of you my whole life. But now that you have your perfect little home, suddenly I'm not good enough." Jason had no words, because how could he explain that it wasn't about her being good enough? That it wasn't about proving anything? That he just wanted to help? And so the divide had formed. Emily still called, but the conversations were clipped. She spoke only of their father, as if Jason had become nothing more than an extension of the situation. And when she did visit, the air in the house became thick with unspoken words. Lauren, for her part, never said a bad word about Emily, but Jason could feel her patience thinning. The real breaking point came on a Sunday afternoon. Jason had invited Emily over for dinner, an attempt at peace. She arrived late, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, dark circles under her eyes. Their father had refused to eat that morning, she explained, and she had spent hours coaxing him, worrying over whether he was declining again. Lauren had cooked, something elaborate, something comforting. She smiled and welcomed Emily in, but Jason noticed how she kept adjusting the silverware, kept smoothing out imaginary wrinkles on the tablecloth. The meal started off fine, but it didn't take long for the tension to surface. "I don't know how you do it," Lauren said, setting down her fork. "You're practically running yourself into the ground." Emily tensed. "I manage, but you don't have to do it alone." Jason interjected carefully. "That's the whole point, Em." Emily's lips pressed together. "You think moving him in here is the solution? He's comfortable where he is." "Is he?" Lauren asked, voice level. "Or are you just afraid of letting go?" The words hit like a crack of thunder. Emily set down her fork, slow and deliberate. Her eyes, so much like Jason's, darkened. "This isn't about letting go," she said, voice tight. "This is about family. Something I don't think you fully understand." Lauren exhaled sharply. Jason could feel the storm coming, feel the pressure in the air. He needed to stop this before it escalated. "All right, let's not." But Emily wasn't done. "You never had to take care of anyone, Jason," she said, her voice shaking. "I did. I gave up everything so you wouldn't have to. And now, because your life turned out perfect, I'm just supposed to hand over the last thing I have left." Jason felt something deep in his chest twist. Lauren pushed her chair back. "No one is asking you to give up anything, Emily. But if you're so determined to do it alone, why even come to Jason for help?" The room fell silent. Emily looked at Jason, then really looked at him, and there was something raw in her gaze. "I came to you because you're my brother," she said. "But maybe that doesn't mean anything anymore." She stood up, grabbed her coat, and walked out. Jason sat frozen as the front door clicked shut. Lauren sighed, rubbing her temples. "I didn't mean." Jason pushed his chair back and stood. Lauren looked up at him. "Jason," but he was already heading for the door. Emily was halfway down the driveway when Jason caught up to her. "Em, wait." She didn't turn around. "Go back inside, Jason." "No," he stepped in front of her. "You don't get to say something like that and walk away." She finally met his gaze, and there was something tired in her eyes, something beyond anger, something close to grief. "I love you," she said, "but I can't keep fighting for a place in your life." Jason swallowed. "You don't have to fight, Em. You've always had a place." She exhaled sharply. "Then why does it feel like I'm losing you?" Jason had no answer, because the truth was he was torn between two worlds, between the life he had built with Lauren and the past that shaped him with Emily. "I don't know how to fix this," he admitted. Emily's expression softened, just for a second. Then she shook her head. Maybe you can't. She turned, walking into the night. Jason stood there for a long time, watching her disappear. When he finally went back inside, Lauren was waiting. She searched his face. Did she say anything? Jason hesitated. Then, finally, he said, "She thinks she's losing me." Lauren sighed. "And what do you think?" Jason sat down, running a hand through his hair. "I think she's right." Silence stretched between them. The clock ticked on. Outside, the world kept moving. And Jason sat in the quiet, trapped between the past and the future, between duty and love, between the sister who raised him and the wife who needed him. Jason hadn't spoken to Emily in 2 weeks. He had sent a few texts. Simple ones. "Hey, how's Dad?" Or "Let me know if you need anything." But her responses were short. "He's fine. We're managing." That was it. No small talk. No invitations. No warmth. Lauren hadn't mentioned Emily since that night. She had given Jason space, but he could feel her watching him, waiting for him to decide where his loyalty lay. And Jason felt like he was standing on a tightrope, balancing between two worlds, knowing that one wrong step could send everything crashing down. It wasn't just about their father. It wasn't just about Emily feeling abandoned. It was about something deeper, something unspoken. Jason had spent years moving forward, building a life separate from the weight of his past. But Emily had stayed in that world, carrying their history on her back, refusing to let it go. And now, Jason was starting to wonder if he had let go too much. Late one evening, Lauren found him sitting in the dark, staring at his phone. "You should go see her," she said quietly. Jason glanced up. "You think so?" Lauren hesitated. I don't want to be the reason you don't." Jason exhaled. "It's not that simple." "It never is," Lauren admitted. "But you need to face whatever this is." And so, the next morning, Jason drove to Emily's house. Emily's apartment was small. Too small for her, their father, and the stress that lived there. Jason knocked, then waited. Nothing. He knocked again. After a long pause, he heard footsteps. The door cracked open, just enough for Emily's tired eyes to meet his. "What are you doing here?" Jason hesitated. I wanted to talk." Emily didn't move. "I'm busy," she said. Please." Something flickered across her face. Hesitation, maybe. Then, finally, she opened the door. Jason stepped inside and immediately felt the weight of the place. The air smelled like antiseptic and old coffee. Their father was asleep in the next room, his breathing heavy and uneven. Bills were stacked on the kitchen counter. Half-eaten meals sat on the table. Emily crossed her arms. "What do you want, Jason?" "Ties on sight. I just want to fix this." Emily let out a bitter laugh. "Fix what?" "The fact that you don't understand what this life is like." Jason's jaw tightened. "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" She shook her head. "You left, Jason. You got out. You got to have a normal life while I stayed behind and carried all of it." Jason clenched his fists. "I didn't ask you to." Emily's face went cold. "No, you didn't." Silence stretched between them. Finally, Jason swallowed. "I want to help." Emily scoffed. "By taking Dad away from me?" "No, by making things easier for you." Emily shook her head. "You don't get it. You never will." Jason exhaled sharply. "Then help me understand." For the first time, Emily's mask cracked. Her voice wavered. "I don't know how to be anything but responsible for him. I don't know how to stop." Jason's heart ached. He stepped forward. "Then let me carry it with you." Emily looked away. After a long pause, she simply said, "I have to get back to Dad." Jason wanted to push, wanted to demand more. But instead, he just nodded. As he walked back to his car, he realized this wasn't a problem he could fix in a single conversation. It was something deeper, something that had been building for years. Days passed, then another week. Jason kept calling. Emily kept answering, but barely. And Lauren was watching him slip away. One night, as they lay in bed, she finally asked, "Where do we go from here, Jason?" Jason turned to her. "What do you mean?" Lauren's voice was soft. "You can't keep living in two worlds. Eventually, you have to choose where you belong." Jason's stomach twisted. Because that was the problem. He didn't know where he belonged anymore. It happened on a rainy afternoon. Emily called. Not a text. Not a short response. A real call. Jason answered immediately. "Hey, Em. Dad's in the hospital." Jason's breath caught. "What?" Emily's voice was tight. "He collapsed this morning. I don't know if he's going to make it." Jason was already grabbing his keys. "I'm on my way." Lauren stepped into the hallway. "What's wrong?" Jason barely had time to answer. "It's my dad." Lauren's expression softened. "Go." Jason didn't need to be told twice. The hospital was cold, too bright, too sterile. Emily was in the waiting room, arms wrapped around herself. She looked up when Jason arrived, her face unreadable. "He's stable," she said quietly. But it was close. Jason let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Then Emily said, "I can't do this alone." Jason looked at her, and he realized this was the moment. This was the choice. If he told her he would be there, really be there, it meant stepping into a life he had tried so hard to move past. It meant changing everything. But if he didn't, he might lose his sister forever. He might lose the last connection to the past that had made him who he was. Jason swallowed. Jason sat in the hospital waiting room, his foot tapping anxiously against the tiled floor. The walls were too white, the air too sterile, and the weight on his chest too heavy. His father was stable but weak. The doctor had warned them. This wasn't the last time something like this would happen. Emily sat beside him, arms wrapped around herself. She hadn't said much since he arrived. She hadn't needed to. The silence between them spoke for itself. Jason was here. But for how long? An hour later, Lauren arrived. Jason looked up as she approached, her expression calm but unreadable. She gave him a soft smile before turning to Emily. "How is he?" Emily's response was clipped. "Stable." Lauren nodded, then glanced at Jason. "Can we talk?" Jason knew this was coming. He followed her into the hallway, away from Emily's sharp eyes and the weight of their father's illness. Lauren exhaled slowly. "Jason, I need to know where we stand." Jason ran a hand through his hair. "What do you mean?" Lauren gave him a knowing look. "I mean, are we going to keep living in this limbo? You're being pulled in two different directions, and I don't know where I fit anymore." Jason swallowed. "I'm trying to be there for my family." Lauren's gaze softened. "I know, and I love you for that. But how much of yourself are you willing to lose in the process?" Jason had no answer, because the truth was he didn't know. When Jason returned to the waiting room, Emily was watching him. "She wants you to walk away, doesn't she?" "Ties on sight." "That's not fair." Emily's jaw tightened. "Isn't it? She's always wanted you to put her first." Jason sat down, rubbing his temples. "She's my wife, Eminesia. And I'm your sister," Emily said. "The one who raised you. The one who sacrificed everything so you could have a life of your own." Jason looked at her, exhaustion evident in his face. "And that's exactly why this is so hard." Emily's voice wavered. "You don't get to walk away from me, Jason." Jason exhaled sharply. "I'm not walking away. But I can't stay frozen between both of you either." Emily looked down at her hands. "So what? You choose her?" Jason hesitated. "I don't know." Emily let out a bitter laugh. "Then that's the problem, isn't it?" The next morning, their father woke up. His voice was weak, his body frail, but he smiled when he saw Jason and Emily sitting beside him. "I thought I lost you too," their father murmured. Emily squeezed his hand. "We're here, Dad." Jason smiled, but it felt forced. Because even though they were both sitting there, Jason knew this was temporary. Emily expected him to return to the past, to be the brother she once knew. Lauren needed him to move forward, to be the husband she deserved. And Jason didn't know who he was supposed to be anymore. As he sat between his past and his future, he realized a choice was coming, and no matter what he chose, someone would get hurt. So what should Jason do? Should he prioritize Emily, the sister who sacrificed everything for him? Or should he fully commit to Lauren, the woman who has built a future with him? Is it possible to hold on to both without losing himself? Or is he destined to lose someone either way?